Joining me today is Damian Callachor, Director of the Chamber of Mines and Energy WA. He'll be speaking at IIR's Southwest WA Resources Development Conference, which takes place on the 25th to 26th of May 2011 in Bunbury. Damian, thanks for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, James.
First of all, can you tell me generally how the Southwest resources sector is faring in comparison with other regions in Australia?
Look, James, it's a very positive outlook for the Southwest. The region has a resilient economy, which is a result of the diverse economic base. The resources sector in the Southwest has performed historically well, and most of the region's success can possibly be contributed to the mining industry, primarily through alumina and mineral sands production. But of course, the largest sector within the region is, of course, manufacturing.
And what are some of the key developments driving the region forward as far as the mining sector is concerned?
Certainly from our perspective, we're looking at expansions for a number of member companies in the region. So that includes BHP Billiton's Worsley Alumina, efficiency and growth expansion, the Perdaman coal to urea plant, the Griffin coal project obviously is continuing. It's the oldest and second largest coal producer in WA. Simcoa operations and expansion is moving forward. So we're seeing a very strong growth from the resources sector in the region, and we're looking forward to a bright future in the Southwest.
How are infrastructure gaps and other such bottlenecks impacting on the Southwest resources sector?
Look, infrastructure servicing the region's sector is currently nearing capacity. Gross regional product in the Southwest has increased by 67% over the past 5 years and has climbed to about $12.4 billion in 2009-10. So roughly around or just under 7% of the WA state gross product. The population and industry in Bunbury and Collie areas have been growing at a rate that is above the WA and national rates over the past decade. This rate of development will accelerate with major projects in bauxite mining, alumina and urea production. Energy generation and coal exports are already committed as well. Major new projects are dependent on a vastly improved and upgraded transport capacity, so mainly for materials for export, but also for raw materials, machinery and components needed in construction of the expansions we are planning. Potential road and rail upgrades will provide more efficient and safer transport for the general regional transport community, as well as obviously the all-important residents of the area. And of course, the jewel in the crown, Bunbury's port, is going to be constrained. It requires a major expansion if it is to support the sufficient growth and efficient bulk loading services essential to support new and expanding projects in the region.
Can you run me through a bit more of those expansion projects? How are those infrastructure gaps being resolved, and what are some of the other major projects that will be coming online in the upcoming year or so?
Sure. I suppose the region's representative bodies, and the Chamber is part of that, have comprised a syndicate of local stakeholders that have identified major projects and bottlenecks within the region. And we have been working toward a report named the Roads to Export report, which has identified various requirements and components that comprise the bottlenecks that comprise the road and rail infrastructure linking major resource operations in the region. A consultant has been engaged to provide further cost-benefit analysis to ensure that the report is as robust and well considered as possible, and the eventual output or expected outcome of that report will be to inform state and federal governments, in particular Infrastructure Australia, in guiding their decisions for their next round of public funding for infrastructure in the region. I suppose going into detail, some of the areas that have been identified that will assist in some of these bottlenecks being resolved is the construction of a second railway track from Brunswick to the Bunbury port. This has been identified as the highest priority rail infrastructure project within Roads to Export. This is currently the most congested section of the network, and many commenced projects will require access to the line, which is already operating at capacity. Completion of all stages of the Bunbury Outer Ring Road and the Bunbury Port Access Road are going to be essential for enabling the port's capacity. Realignment of the Preston River, it's an unfortunate thing to have to do, but it looks as if that is going to be required. Improvement of traffic management at the Elup roundabout is going to be a major release to constrained activity, particularly in the mornings and evenings as people are moving to and from work. And resolution of safety and bottleneck issues on the Coalfields Highway to Collie. Obviously there have been a significant number of incidents on that road, and we would like to see that improved. Recommencement of the Greenbushes railway line will obviously assist with timber management and other resource projects in the region. And development of Bunbury Port's container handling capacity will also provide a welcome increase in capacity at the port.
You're speaking at IIR's Southwest WA Resources Development Conference, which takes place on the 25th to 26th of May 2011 in Bunbury. What will be some of the key aspects that you'll be addressing in your presentation, Damian?
The Southwest is a big part of the future for the WA resources sector. It's critical that we get these infrastructure bottlenecks and I suppose constraints to efficiency right for future development. And the CME is pleased to be presenting at the conference, which is going to be focusing on a number of different things. But of course, we will be looking to outline some of the infrastructure constraints that exist to hopefully enable further growth in our sector in this region. In particular, one of the key constraints is going to be labour force issues, but along with that, obviously energy and water become major priority issues and constraints to growth in the region. We look forward to outlining some hopefully reasonably informative information for guests at the conference, and look forward to taking part in general.
Damian Callachor, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, James.